question and answer time with Todd and Aaron.
It's time for Q&A with TNA. By the way, that stands for Todd and Aaron.
We should unmute ourselves. How about that? So, lots of stuff going on here. Welcome into Q&A with TNA. That's Todd Downing. I am Aaron Montgomery, and we are with our successgroup.com. So, Todd, we're already having some fun here. For whatever reason, it keeps saying an error occurred when trying to go live on the Business Basics group. So I don't know if Facebook has decided to change something on StreamYard, but
yeah, I'm not sure there. So on that post, I went ahead and just put join us over at Live USA. Live USG. So yeah, I'm not sure. I tried to go there and do it, and it won't let me let me do anything. So yeah, we'll just keep playing it by ear.
Yeah, good times. So we'll have to check into that. I will reach out to the folks over at StreamYard. Like I said, sometimes Facebook and the groups, man, they're really weird about groups, you know. So everything else seems to work just fine. But anytime you want to go inside a private group, there's lots of hoops to jump through. And when they change something, then all the third-party software works out. Yeah, so anyhow. Good times to get us started, and we made our mics live, and the whole works. It's almost like it's been 2 weeks since we've done this, Todd.
Yeah, well, I just made Business Basics work. I just deleted it off and re-added it, and hey, now there's a green check. So,
boom. All right. Well, let's see if it works out. So, Tanya says I'm watching on Facebook. So I don't. Hello, thank you for joining us. And Renee, I'm glad you can hear us now. Yeah. Good times. I got that squirrel going on. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to mute our mics. We'll get this started. Everything's going to be good. And then all of a sudden I'm like getting this error, and I'm like, freak out moment. So anyhow,
and I just kept going with it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's do it.
I'm good now. I'm my heart rate's back down. I'm good. All right. So, Terry, I'm glad you made it. Appreciate you being here. And Todd, where's your curtain, man?
I know, right? We are little by little moving into the new space. So I think this is where this is going to end up at. But I don't think this desk is a right-handed desk, and I don't think that's going to work for me. So I have to switch. And if you being right-handed, you don't have those issues. But being left-handed, when you sit at a typical desk, everything is on the right-hand side. That's where you pull out your drawers. That's where you put everything. So when you're sitting there at a computer, you're putting everything on the right side. Being left, you sit in the center. There's nothing there, because the end of the desk. So left-hand problems for sure. So I think swapped out.
Nice. All right. Well, Curtis says he can hear us now on YouTube, so that's good. We got that fixed. Maria, thank you for joining us. And Terry says looks and sounds good on Facebook now. Good. Thank you very much for getting that all sorted out. Todd's in the timeout corner.
There's a corner right here, so that would be good.
I would sing the song, but I'd hate to get us kicked off Facebook, because my singing's so good. They might mistake that for anyhow. No, that's not true. I appreciate you not commenting, Todd. Thank you. All right. Well, again, Q&A is always about having a good time, and just an opportunity to get together. But also, since it's now every 2 weeks or so, we want to answer as many questions as we can get to.
Yep.
So how about we dive in here, Todd? Okay. Good. I caught you right as you were taking a drink there. All right. How does the pricing work on DTG when it comes to motco.biz? So with I can
bang this one out. So you're going to have two different pricings, with white ink and without. From there, I'll let Aaron take it over.
All right. Well, that's actually true. And so I need to, I know Renee's mentioned many times, like get a price list and all that sort of stuff. I need to do that. In fact, I mentioned to her today on Messenger that I'm going to try to figure out how to make that happen. I'll maybe reach out to somebody on Fiverr or my VA or something like that, and we'll get a price list done here. But in the meantime, Todd, how about we just do this? I will put it up on screen here, and I will show you. All right, so we're going to click on full color garment printing, and there's everything. And let's say we were looking for the Bella canvas and we want it printed on both sides. So you can see single side over here, printed on both sides here. Bella canvas. This is the BC 3001. Yep, it's one of my favorites too. And in fact, I think it might be what I'm wearing right now.
I think that's what I'm wearing as well.
Yeah. I always pull the tags out of mine, but
yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I can feel a long tag.
Yeah. So anyhow, so there we go. Equid was having some trouble earlier, so I was fingers crossed this was going to work. So anyhow, so we start out here, price $9.99. Here's where you get the other pricing though. So we're going to pick our shirt color, and it's basically just standard to white. Let's say it's a black shirt or any other shirt that white ink is needed. So either of those, once we change that and then we select a size, you'll see the price change there. So when you're double side printing that, we've got to pre-treat both sides. We got to print a white underbase on both sides. And so it's a bit of a jump. And then if you're looking at the extra sizes, that's the other thing to click on there. There's the 2X, there's the 3X. Now, if we go back to the white shirt, there's the 3X, there's the 2X. All right. So here's all the different colors you could pick. I've got all that kind of stuff, whatnot. So I guess that's the basic rundown, Todd. I don't know if I missed anything there. These are just some kind of...
Me just looking at it from there, when you have both sides listed, is it the same whether they have a full print or a left chest print?
For this particular setup, where again we're just trying to get some information out there, it's basically regardless of what the size is.
So perfect. So somebody is bidding a job and they know this boom, they have their price.
Yeah, that's the most it's going to be. Now, the better way to do this is to go ahead and do the custom quote here, and because unfortunately everybody's art's going to be different. So even if my art's 4x4 and your art's 4x4, depending on how that's laid out, the cost is still going to be different. So this is the challenge with direct to garment. It's not like screen print or other things where your costs change pretty drastically based on the ink prices, and that has a lot to do with the art and if you're putting down white ink and yada yada yada. So again, don't want to go too deep, but hopefully that helps. Renee's question here: what if you want a different color shirt? What does that do to the price? So really, Renee, the color of shirt doesn't really change the price a whole lot. The difference, the big jump in price, is whether or not we have to lay down white ink or not. So if you're going to do a pink shirt with black lettering on it, there's no need for white ink on that. But if you're going to do a pink shirt and your design's got white clouds in it that need to print white, then that's going to need to lay down white ink. So the big difference there is white ink or no white ink is what it boils down to. So hopefully that helps answer those questions. Todd, anything I missed there?
I don't think so, because you got whether it's front and back. I mean, really, if you're bidding a job, you look at the pricing and your big thing is to find out whether it's a light shirt or a dark shirt. Those are the two factors to know. Where your print location is, whether it's front and back, and then sizing. Whether because everybody should be charging more for your extended sizes because you get charged for them as well. So I think with that information, you should be able to bid any job there for it.
Yep. And like I said, if you've got a little, and I try to get back on the quote request as quickly as possible. So if you can actually share the art, or at least a pretty good simulation of the art, even if things are going to change slightly, that's okay. It allows us to kind of, I don't know, I always say sharpen the pencil. I don't know if that makes me sound really old, but it allows us to sharpen the pencil and get you more room. But like Todd said, you've got all the information there. If you just want to, quickly be able to price something out to folks, then you've kind of got, this is the most it's going to be. But on the quote, we talked, I mentioned that, what garment or item does it need to be printed on? We'll who will be providing the printable item. I can do some printable things, what color printable item, blah, 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 sizes, so on and so forth. So, all right. I think that covers it, Todd. Are we good to move on here?
Yeah, I think so. I think, people, if they have any more questions, just reach out. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's not hard to get a hold of. You can find many places. And I think if you have any questions, the best thing to do would be on that page, hit the request a quote button and do that.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. Okay. Terry, yes, eyes doing much better. Just change of weather. I don't know. Sometimes I don't sleep well or whatever the case may be. Contacts. One of these days I'm gonna have to invest in LASIK and just quit messing around with it. But joys of having contacts. So good there. Let's see here. Curtis, we'll just hit this real quick, but if you guys have questions, though, please feel free to go ahead and put those in. Where is that at? There it is. Put those in at oursuccessgroup.com/Q&A, and then we'll be able to make sure we get you as detailed of information as possible. In fact, our next official question came in like right after our last Q&A, Todd. So I actually responded by email and already answered it, but we'll answer for the group too.
After this one, we're not going to have a Q&A for 6 weeks.
Yep. But put your questions in here, and as long as you put your email address in there with it, we'll respond to you and let you know the answer too. So obviously we'll talk about it more on the Q&A, but all right. So back to this here, Todd. Any suggestions on doing a car show? I told him I could do heat transfer at the show.
Yeah. So my big thing is I don't know what you have for equipment. Car shows are kind of one of those things that if you have sublimation, you can kill it at a car show, because what you can do is you can create a base template of here's the name of the car show, here's whatever, and then you can create a photo template for it. So then all you have to do is say, hey, if you text me a picture of your car, we can drop it in this photo thing, boom, and we can have your shirt printed out. We can put it on a mug. We can put it on anything. And that's where that really comes in handy at any event like that. Where there's any kind of a car show is a perfect one for it. If you're doing heat transfer, it's a little harder, because what are you really going to do? Because you got to think of that market and what they want. It's I think if you have heat transfer vinyl, that's not going to do a lot. Decals are where it's going to be. Anything that you can do that way, to something they can add to the car or something that way. But sublimation, having that template already drawn up where they can text you a picture of their car, you can put it in there, and then you can put it on the shirt, on the mug, on the mouse pad. You can put it on anything. You'll really see a good return on that, because then it's their car on that shirt.
Yeah. I actually knew a guy way back when that when I was involved with the early DTG stuff with the T-Jet days, he bought one of the very first T-Jets that could print on dark shirts, and his business was going to car shows, and he actually bought the DTG to take it to car shows, and he set up his DTG in a trailer, with the generator, and basically he said he would do 1 or 2 car shows a weekend and then had the rest of the week off.
Yeah,
he was killing it doing that. So he said he was selling shirts for $40 a pop.
Yeah, because it's custom. It's right there. I've seen so many of those custom things that you can do if you're able to provide that on site. The big ones are like the license plate makers. Have you seen those where it's just the dies where they sit down and they have it on there? Or what do you want to say? Boop, and they run it through. But sublimation, you can kill it at those with, because
I was gonna say car tags with sublimation would be really cool.
Yep, those, the sublimation is where you can really do a good job on it.
Yeah.
Heat transfer and a heat press, it's tough because, you're limited to one color, because you don't want anything that's going to take a lot of time. That's the big thing. Like when we were doing events for sporting teams and that, it was pretty much the only thing we did was names and numbers, and we would do them in white or black. If there was a team or something that was there, it might go, red and blue, something there that you add with it, but it was white and black. It was names and numbers. That's all we pressed on site. Most of the numbers we would have pre-cut because we were using scraps for that, so we'd have them there. Whether it was hats, whether it was gloves, whether it was shoes, we're doing that type of stuff there. Names pretty standard across the back, and you were just banging those out. Somebody would come in, drop off their shirt, and go. They could purchase one, add it to the back of it. So that'd be about the only thing I could think of. I think you'd be better off with on because you're going to have the cutter there to not really worry about the heat press and focus on the vinyl side of it. The car banners, the windshield banners, the club names, the sponsor names, things like that you're able to put on a car and go. The in memory of decals, those you're good. Any of the sporting, whether ATV, lowrider, lifted truck, the decals that cater to that group that are there, you can do really well at those, and they're quick and simple.
Yeah, that's good ideas. I like that. Good. All right. Well, let's get to the next one here. Let's get to one that actually came in over here at oursuccessgroup.com/QA. And again, like I said, I've already emailed the person about this, but we can go ahead and answer it here too. So the question is, can you sublimate a background on a mask and then use a heat transfer on top? I.e., I have heat transfer design I'd like to use, but don't want the white of the mask to show. And Todd, my answer was yes. Any reason that that's incorrect?
Nope. Yes, done. Move on. Yeah.
Okay.
My thing would be is why would be my first question is why are you doing it that way? If it's to have stock built, so that way it's just names, numbers, quick and simple. But you're doing sublimation on it because you're changing the background color. Why not do the full design on it? That would be my thing, because now you're taking double time. I'm doing something once, I'm printing out something, I'm pressing it. Now I'm cutting something, I'm bleeding it, I'm pressing it again. So I would just wonder what the reasoning is behind it, because I think if you can get away with just pressing it all at the same time, then that saves you time and it's going to have no feel to it.
Yeah. That does a good point. If there's a way, because depending on how you're set up, I guess, if you're, that's a tough one, because if it's possible, it would be better to just customize the whole thing at one time and go from there. So
My only thing I wonder is if you have a bunch of them that you're going to do for an event or something, and then you're just adding names to them, on site, so you don't have to go through that whole process of there, because that 15-second press is going to be a lot quicker than printing out one and
then pressing for 60 seconds.
Yeah, I see something like that. But yeah, I'd want to know more about it. But yeah, you can absolutely sublimate something and then put something on it. We've done that before with. We've had a couple designs where it's a school design, and we'll have it on there, and then we just change out the years on it. So every year, we can use that same shirt because the spots are blank for the years or the sport or the name, and then we can just do a name drop in it with heat transfer vinyl, and it's perfect.
Yeah. And if you think about it, a lot of the material, especially polyester material that you're pressing on to begin with heat transfer, a lot of that stuff, it's not, I guess, dye sublimated like we're thinking about, but it is dyed and in that fashion. So so yeah, I think the big thing is just making sure that you do want to try to keep your heat transfer temperature as low as you can possibly go and still get a good press. I mean, you're not terribly close. Most sublimation ink, depending on the quality of it, you're going to start seeing even the colors that transfer the soonest in that 360 range. So, as long as you're staying below that, you shouldn't have any situation where the inks start gassing back out again. So, I guess the other thing to look out for, though, is you do want to watch that you're not going to get the transfer lines. That could be something that happens too. So you got to watch for that. So just make sure that you're
if the heat and everything with there, I think you're fine on that part, because you're going to be at it for, especially if you're worried about that with the heat transfer, you can do a 1 or 2 second tack press, pull that off, and then you can come back over it with your cover sheet and hit it off that and be good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. I think we covered that. Let's get on to the next one here. All right. What platforms/tools are a must when it comes to the fourth quarter?
All of them.
All of them.
If there's a platform,
this is gonna be a fast one tonight.
If there's a platform out there, that your customers are on, you need to be there too. And that's the big thing, is you don't need to be on every platform. You need to be on every platform your customers are on. So knowing who your customers are, knowing where to find them, so you know to be in front of them. That's I think probably the most important thing when choosing where to be at. Yeah.
And so, I mean, like Todd said, that's that's the key, is understanding where your customers are at, but it's also making sure that, it's something that fits you. We're going to do the 5 keys here coming up starting next Wednesday. And we're starting off with YouTube. And I know not everybody has a YouTube channel. Now, should you? I would say that it's probably worth investigating and giving some serious thought to, because
I'll say yeah.
it is the second largest search engine in the world. So people go there to find out information, to search. So we go to Google to find the nearest pizza place. We go to YouTube to find out how to do something.
Right.
And so when you've got the second biggest search engine in the world, it's kind of worthwhile to at least have a presence there. It's not like Facebook where it's constant posting and doing all that, and you have to respond to comments and things like that. But really, it's what it is you need to get yourself out there as the expert. So if somebody wants to know, how to sublimate, how to get a gift that is personalized, you want to be there showing them that. And then you can, we won't get into all the details here today. That's what the training's for coming up. But, and then there's ads and all sorts of different things that you can do. So to answer the question, what platforms are a must, like Todd said, I think you need to really understand where your customers are. And we talked a lot about that yesterday, kind of cleaning up the brand, understanding where we're at and all that other stuff. But the other thing, I guess, the other must that you need to look at is get some of the basic things too. Make sure you've got an email platform, whether that's a free MailChimp setup, or, if you're a heavy Gmail type user, there's a program called Gmass that's worth checking out, where you just send stuff directly. You need some way to send email, because here's the deal. Coming up the fourth quarter, you're going to have to be in front of people a lot of different ways. And, so email is definitely one of those things that I just think it's a must. I know that people are tired of getting a bunch of emails, but at the end of the day, when you look at all the marketing and you look at what things convert, meaning what things turn into sales, email still rules all platforms. So you got to have your email set up. Trying to think, obviously you want to have your Facebook page cleaned up. If you don't have an Instagram account, it's worth looking at that too. Instagram being part of Facebook. So when you have YouTube, when you have Facebook, when you have Instagram, you got the 800-pound gorillas covered at that point, right? So obviously there's other platforms too that are worth looking at. Should you be a little more active on LinkedIn? What about Pinterest? Things like that. But when it comes to must, at least must look at YouTube, must look at Instagram, must be on Facebook. Pretty simple. And then have a way to send emails. You can't just whatever you do, please do not ever send your emails as put everybody in the to field. That's the worst thing. The second worst thing is to put people in the blind carbon copy field and send emails that way. Nobody's ever going to get them, and nobody's going to want to get those. So, get an email service as well. Anything else that we missed?
No, I think, you got to remember, it's not what you want to do and what you want. It's what your customers want and where your customers want to find you. So, that's why you need to be, where they are. The email one, I think that one trips up a lot of people. So when we do that training class, I think it's going to open up a lot of people's eyes to see that it's really not that difficult to do. Sure, setting up and trying to figure that out, it might take a little bit to understand. But once it's set up, then it's just rinse and repeat. It's do this and go, do this and go. So
yeah,
that's the plan. Is I'm hoping that we are able to provide you with tools not only to get you through these next 12 weeks of the holiday after the training's up, but you're going to be able to use that all year long for everything. So and it's great because it's just not holiday based. It's just not one platform based. You don't have to use any all of it, but it works all hand in hand. So I'm really excited to put that on there to get people motivated to see that, hey, this is what big people are doing, and you can do it too. You just don't need to do it on the $1 million scale. You can do it on a small scale and be successful with it.
Yeah. That's I agree with that 100%. And I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about, Todd, is the fact that all of these things work together so nicely, which then also takes away the fact that we don't have to be, spending a ton of money in any of this stuff too. If we get these things to work together, you're basically just, I don't know. I hate the whole funnel analogy necessarily, but you're basically, we talked about it even yesterday again, Todd. You have to touch people 7 to 9 times before they make a purchase from you. So, if you've interacted with them on Facebook, they've hit the heart button on your Instagram, they've viewed your YouTube channel, they've seen your ad. There's 4. They get an email, they get another email, they come to your website. Now we're, what's that, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
So, all of these things work super nicely together, but we got to have them available to us. And so that's why, I'm so excited to talk about this stuff right now, Todd. We're going to have this great training coming up here next week, but, you don't want to be behind the 8 ball here, so to speak.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you'll see is, for us, for me personally, for Fat Dad, one of the things that we're going to drop here, on the 1st is all of our printed vinyl for HTV and the adhesive craft vinyl. As we're doing this and we're putting together the packages and we're showing this, I'm building the site, putting the things on there, and I'm printing out samples and going from there. You're going to see all that stuff until it drops, because that's my plan, is to get in front of you as much as I can between now and then, to build that excitement behind it, to build that up so people want to go there and see the things. And so that's where, you don't always have to be salesy. You can just put things out there. And that's what a lot of this training is going to show you, is how to not so much be like, buy my stuff, but buy me, buy the community, buy us, and, join in and see, to get people not so much wanting to purchase, or wanting to think that you're trying to sell them, but them wanting to buy from you. So, I think we're gonna nail this one out of the park. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. It is really cool. And like you said, Todd, it's not about being salesy. In fact, it's really the opposite of that. I've said repeatedly throughout my career, which is hilarious, because I'm probably one of the weirdest kids out there. When I was a kid, the thing I wanted to be when I grew up was a car salesman. Seriously, you can ask my parents that. That's actually true statement. I wanted to be a car salesman. I come to find out, when I actually got into the sales world, as salesmen go, I was horrible. I was a horrible salesperson. I hated the cold calls. I hated all that stuff. So I spent my entire career trying to figure out how to sell something without selling something. And that's the great part about social media, is you have an opportunity to, quote, sell something without selling something, without having to be a salesperson. And it opens it up for all of us. And so definitely really exciting stuff here, Todd.
Yeah. I think this will probably be one of our top 5 keys.
Of the 3, it's top 3. I love it.
Top 3, all right?
It's going to be in the top 3 for sure. I can guaranteed by us, Todd, that it's in the top 3. All right, wonderful. Okay, let's get to the next question here. And if you guys have any comments, any follow-ups, anything, feel free to jump in here.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're only 30 minutes, Todd. Jeez.
3 questions. That's 10 minutes a question. We're rocking it.
Yeah. Well, we got the bonus question in the middle there too. So
yeah, we're killing it tonight.
Yeah. So 2 questions left here, Todd. Here we go. How can I best build my lists, social media followers, email lists, etc.?
Ooh, this is a good one, because there are a few different ways to do it. I think one of the most common ways is the traditional grab form, the sign up form. Here, join my list, and here's this, and you have to sign up for it. Great thing about that is you have the people that are doing it, because that means they want to be part of it. They're like, yeah. So whether you have to give out some information or something to get that in turn, I think that's a good one. There is, just those the form sign up sheets are always a good way to build that list.
Yeah, I think that having that, as people go to your website, having it so there's something that they can get in return. Maybe it's information about your niche. Maybe it's, there's lots of different ways. The interesting part about this whole process is, a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to get this spam email, or I don't, I want to protect my privacy, blah, 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 blah. And it's all very true. But the second we have an opportunity to get something that could be valuable to us, all that stuff drops out, or like almost right away. We're willing to give up our kids, and our social security numbers. And I'm kidding, obviously, but if there's something that I can get out of exchanging for my email address or something like that. I mean, I give my email address out all the time. I go and I like trying to read something, and there's this white paper, and what happens is a lot of us go, oh, well, what am I going to share? Well, plenty of stuff that your customers don't know, that they're whatever. And that's where having a niche market and understanding who your customers are makes it so much easier to be able to go, okay, I don't, know exactly what it is, but what is it that I know? What is it that I think about every day? And if you can share kind of the inside scoop on something like that, people would be willing to give up their email addresses, or, you like my page, do a contest. I mean, there's lots of different fun ways that you can go about this. So you need to be doing that right now, I think is the big point.
That's what you need to do all the time, because that's we'll go back to the funnel analogy that keeps filling that funnel. The more that you have in there, the more people that are in there. I read a thing that what is it that on average, every person on your email list is worth $1 a month. So, if you have 500 people on your email address, you should be generating $500 in sales from it. So, that doesn't mean every person is going to buy, but whatever your product is, cumulatively, you should, have $500 in sales coming from it. So, it's something to think of, and that's one of the reasons to do it. A lot of the people that have done really well for themselves on the digital side of things, or the product selling, have done it through lists. That's the email list is where it's never going to go away. It's today's infomercial, and it's just a better version of it.
Yeah. And, here's the other thing about collecting emails too. The one thing to be aware of here, especially as we talk about emails, is, when somebody's giving you their email, you certainly have a right to that, but I would suggest asking them, maybe if you're not sending out a regular email and you're ready to get that started, take all the people on your email and make the first email be, hey, I just want you to make sure that you want to get this, because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to just all of a sudden start sending emails and then end up in the spam button. I think people sometimes don't realize the difference here, but there is a difference between somebody getting off your email list by hitting the spam button versus somebody just unsubscribing. So if somebody just unsubscribes, that doesn't affect the rest of the people getting your email. But if somebody hits the spam button or reports it as spam, then that does affect all of the rest of the people that would potentially be getting your email, because now maybe that stuff's going to start showing up in their spam box instead. So, I've always pushed the envelope of this, and I'll tell you, it's you definitely have to work really hard to stay on that right side of the spam police, so to speak. So, yeah. So anyways, so that's email. As far as getting social media followers, Facebook, Todd, you always say it best. I mean, it's just posting, right?
I'm posting and I'm asking. I mean, look at how we keep growing the Business Basics group. Hey, when every time every week I put a thank you for joining us. Here's our plan. Here's what we're going to do. Here's our goal for it, and we can get that. If everybody would only invite 5 people, I'd hit my goal tomorrow. So if you're on there, invite your 5 people, so I can hit my goal, and then we can create something new. But that's the thing is, it's you just got to ask, and then staying persistent with it, staying the posting out there. People will follow you. Ask them to share. Ask for opinions on it. You can there's those fine lines between that whole like, share, giveaway, comment type thing, on what Facebook allows and doesn't allow, and how it could go through it. So, enter at your own risk type thing. But, hey, if you're asking somebody to like or share this, or, tell your friends, hey, go for it. Why, the worst thing that happens is you get Facebook shut down and you go to jail for a couple of days.
I've never been in Facebook jail, so you'll have to tell me how it is over there, Todd.
That's why you have that's why it's not fun. I mean, because there's only certain places that you can do stuff at, and you can't comment on anything. You can't do it there. And I completely understand why there's people that have so many different profiles. Because they're in Facebook jail a lot, and there's a certain person who I think when it comes to marketing is unorthodox, is all can get out, and that would be Nick over at Craft Vinyl. But you do what he says, everything falls in place. You go against how he has his system set up, and you want to call him out on it, he'll call you out. And so if you follow his stuff, every transaction is great. I've never had a problem with him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's doing his part. But if you don't know who he is, he's also the guy who paid for his fines in pennies. So if you look that up, he very interesting, colorful character. And he.
What did he get fined for?
I don't know if it was it was some kind of driving citation or something.
Oh, okay.
It was something. There's a fine for something. And he went in there with pennies and had them count them. Because it's money. So he was getting his use out of it. There was a time when I believe Oracle, I think it was, didn't want him selling his product because of how he was selling it, and he was actually buying it from other vendors, because hey, they were getting there, and he would have his. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was Caesar.
It was Caesar. Yeah, it was Caesar.
To Vegas, and hey, if you take a picture of in the front of the booth, giving it the finger, I'll give you something free, and it's just like that's the type of stuff that's there. But I mean, it was. I think as a businessman, smart. It's just you follow his rules and things how it is there, and if you don't follow the rules, don't call him out on it, because you're gonna be called out as well.
Oh boy! Thing, All right. Well, I'm. Not my cup of tea, but I do have a little process that seems to work for gathering some additional followers and stuff like that. So especially with Facebook on your page is, as Todd shares, if you're posting daily, that's the first part of the process. The second part of the process is to go ahead and with your personal profile, share some of those posts out to your personal profile too. And then as people like and share. So if you go into Facebook in the notifications there, they'll actually tell you, so-and-so. So we do this with two regular guys in the live video stuff. So-and-so liked your video. Would you like to invite them to like your page? And just do that. And then the other thing you can do is you can go through and invite people like your page. Like Todd said, you just got to ask. But to me, it's, just got to have that process. Once a week, I check inside the different tools there and say, okay, who liked this video that doesn't like the page? And then you go from there. And because when, A, they're hopefully then going to get your posts, but B, now you're able to market directly to them if you're going to do any Facebook ads too.
Yep.
So, all right. So I think we covered that. How can I best build my list, social media and email list? And I think the big thing though, Todd, just to reiterate this is just, start doing it now. And even if you don't have a big list by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, at least you're going to have some momentum, and that's important. So that's why I'm glad that we got to talk about this now. All right. Then again, if you guys have questions, comments, anything that you'd like us to cover, go back on what we've already talked about in the questions there. Please feel free, but let's hit the next one here, Todd. Are you still there?
I am. I just looked it up. So here's what it was. It was a tax bill. It was $2,987.14 that he paid with in pennies, and all the pennies broke the coin counting machine, and ultimately had to be counted by hand.
Well, Maybe he'll end up in jail someday. All right, Todd. Last question that we've got here, and again, like I said, if the listeners have anything that they'd like to participate and let us know what they're thinking, what their thoughts are, what are you doing to gather more followers, those kinds of things. But last question: what should my budget be for advertising in the fourth quarter?
This is a tough one because
It is a very tough one.
It's not going to be the same for everybody, and a lot of it at the beginning of it is going to be testing things because some things aren't going to hit, that you might think are going to hit, and the other things you don't think are going to take off, and those are the ones that you're going to put your budget behind. The great thing now is it used to be, remember, prior to internet times, you had radio and TV and newspaper. And so you plan this stuff out in months, and you would put it out there, and you were spending money ahead of time, and you weren't seeing results for till weeks or months afterwards. Well, now you can see something in hours to a day, and if it's not working, you can shut it off. Can't do that with a radio ad. Can't do that with a TV commercial. And you can't do that with print. So it's definitely the advantage is yours now to be able to cater to what you need to. Budget wise, not everybody's in the same spot. I think you set your goal on where you want to be for sales, and I think it should be anything less than 10% of that goal. You should plan on budgeting for your advertising. What about you?
Yeah, I think like you said at the beginning, it's going to be different for everybody. And here's I think the most important thing: if you don't have the budget to do it, that's okay. It's not like you should just fold up and I'm just going to wait until next year. That's even if you've got to go shoestring here, you could still get moving. But here's my suggestion though: anything that you can put aside or figure out a way to save up a little extra, skip the Starbucks, whatever, make some sales and plan on reinvesting it. Because as I think you just said, Todd, basically what we're willing to invest, if we're doing this well, should be turning around to us in sales. And, some of the testing that I've done here up until this point, this is pre-fourth quarter, it took a bit more. You had to kind of get a little higher up the budget than I felt, as comfortable with. But then once I got up there, then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, now we're hitting some things and you kind of made that return on investment kind of point where it's like, so if I'm starting off with $20, I didn't make it very far. I didn't get a whole, even once I got it kind of dialed in and I felt like I had good data, I didn't make it very far. But once I got into, the 50 or more range, now all of a sudden, you started seeing more people hitting the site, better conversions. And so I think, you have to look at this as an investment and be willing to spend a little bit more than maybe you had in the past, especially, and I think we've talked about this before, but to me, it's worth noting, maybe you want to also sit on your spend a little bit until, middle of November.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be the election and that money is going to be being spent. So that means everything advertising wise is going to be more expensive until that's all over with. So, I'm not saying that you can't, find a diamond in the rough and maybe you can get to a specific audience and not have a lot of costs involved there. But I do think that you'll find it to be a little easier if you kind of plan your advertising spends for later in November.
Yeah. And the thing you got to think about with doing that is, the later that you're going to spend it, you're going to have that shorter season. So make sure whatever you're going to be pushing is going to be something that you're able to produce in that time, because if your cutoff date is going to be, say, December 10th, and you're waiting till the election, what is it, 4th that year?
I think it's 4th, yeah.
So, I mean, that basically gives you 6 weeks, 5 weeks to do it, so you really want to plan for that. And that's, where the 5 keys is going to really help you get into that mode of here's what I need to do to really bang things out in this short time. So that way, the last thing you want to do is spend money. If your cutoff day is on the 10th, it's to spend money on the 11th because your time's already done. So anything you spend that is wasted money because you're not going to be able to do it because you already set your cutoff date here. So knowing those important dates of when you're going to do stuff, when you're going to have it there, will help you spread that budget out. Because if there's 100 days in general, let's just say there's 100 days there, and you decided, that you're going to go farther than that, 125 days, but your budget was 100, you're spending $1 a day. What 125, they're going to take that whole amount there and they're just going to drop it down because they're going to spread it throughout that time. So that's one of the things about making sure of knowing your dates, when you're going to run stuff, when you're going to turn stuff off. You don't want customers that are going to try and order it and be like, hey, I just got this email today. What do you mean I can't order it? It says it's there. Oh, and I think we've all had that when things, you've gotten stuff after sales. The mail is great for it. When you get stuff, you're like, oh, yeah, this was last weekend or something like that. So that's one of the parts of this 5 keys is setting that up so that way you're going to have, great results from what you do put out there.
Yeah. I think, though, all in all, Todd, I guess just to wrap up that question in my mind, at least, and you can certainly tag on to this. If you're going off of years past, and that's your plan, I would probably scrap that. I would say that, what your budget is this year. And again, hopefully, with pivoting, with, getting rid of some other costs and doing some other things, and hopefully turning our focus more to the e-commerce stuff, which it works really well with the social media stuff, try to take some of that and let's put some more into it. So I would say, hopefully you have more of a budget this year than in years past. Again, for those folks that don't have any budget, this is not to say, oh, just forget about it. You're not going to, no, that's not true. You can still be successful and move forward. It's just, if you can find a way to put some money into advertising on Google and advertising on Facebook or maybe some other places that work for you, I think you're going to find a better rate of return, a better return on your investment if you're looking at it that way.
For sure. Because that's the thing is, you want to be able to get, as much out of everything you do, as much out of every dollar you put in that you do, because once you're spending it, there's not getting anything back. You want to have that clear, concise message. You want to have a good plan put out there. You want to have everything, good to go for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so I was also just looking at everything. We've got a quiet bunch here today, Todd. I don't know if everybody's taken a nap or they've had too many live videos going on lately or what's going on here. But
we haven't had nothing for a while. It's amazing.
Is it broken? Can you hear us? Are we talking to ourselves?
I even looked to see them because I was just thinking that I'm like, is it in this group? I just want to make sure that things there and came up because, I don't know. Usually we have a good string of stuff throughout there. Responses. All right. We broke it. Whatever.
We broke Streamyard.
Well, I'm really surprised now. Is you're gonna love this? Is that is here? I set everything up, and one thing I forgot is I didn't plug in the internet. So to be able to run off the Wi-Fi and not have any issues, I'm really surprised. So about that right now.
Before we got started, you were fading in and out a little bit. So
here's why.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. All right, good. All right, we didn't break it, Todd. Maria said tons of information. Good. I'm glad that you got it. Terry says you guys are going to make me get into sublimation if I don't have enough going on. Yeah, Terry, you probably are pretty busy as is, but hey, I know you can actually use a lot of this for what you're doing too. By the way, just FYI.
You don't need to get into sublimation because, like I said, you can always have it done for you. If you have the press. Aaron can provide the transfers. Here's my stuff. Here it is. He'd be more than happy to send you out transfers of your stuff for the way you can press it. So, it's always, this is the time of year to think about, I want to offer this, but I can't. How can I do that? One of the things that we're going to offer is going to be some laser engraved mugs, tumblers, things like that. Am I going to do it? No. But I'm going to have an order set up early enough where I can get it to Renee and have her do it for me. So I don't have to worry about it. So
there you go.
Just because, think about, and a lot of people get weirded out about that of, hey, well, I don't make it, I shouldn't do it. Does Walmart make everything that they sell? No. All they are is a reseller. Somebody else makes stuff and they sell it. That's the same thing you start looking at yourself as, and then, make it really good off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think that is a good point. Kylene and I actually were talking last night about, looking at some things, and, she actually said, "Oh yeah, we need to do some decals." I'm like, so she's thinking about you too, but, all right. Missy says listening while traveling on the 405. Brain is multitasking. Excellent. So good. Hubby's a screen print graphics artist for 30 plus years. So maybe I can talk him into getting into sublimation too. If he's a graphics artist, sublimation, screen print, I don't think it's going to matter for him. So
yeah, you talk about, especially on where his graphic artist is, because that's the amazing thing about graphic artists, can mean anything. There's these ones that they're so niche down where they just do your wildlife stuff. That's all I'm doing. Now, any of that stuff, you put that on slates and use that as backgrounds for memorial things. Oh, that's amazing. You have one of those ones that just want to do web design. Okay, whatever. There's so many different things that he can do. And if he's got anything 30 plus years, yeah, he's got a lot of experience he can put there.
Well, and he's doing screen printing, so he's already in the space, so it's an easy transition. Renee makes a good point here. Todd says all about pressing buttons and trusting people at the other end. I think that second part of that, trusting people at the other end, I think that's another important thing to be thinking about right now. As you're getting into this, one of the reasons why people don't get into the whole, I'm going to have somebody else do it for me, is they're like, oh, then I've lost control of it. But it's not, that relationship with somebody doing a product for you is not like me going and buying, this cup from retail. When you're going to work with somebody that's wholesaling, it becomes a partnership, so if they're just going to take your stuff and print it, and then that might not be the partner for you. But if they're going to, look at things, does this make sense? Were we, having the conversation, what happens if something doesn't go right? Are they willing to work together with you? So if you're starting to do that now and, try some things out, I'm not saying go and just go whole hog into doing wholesale with somebody. Try a few things out now so you get the process down, you get that relationship built. And then, when things do blow up for you, now you're ready to go. Now you can just push the buttons and go.
Well, and something that I just thought of that I know is happening year in and year out. And so let me try and be nice about this. But
oh boy, should I get ready to put the censor button on? Go ahead.
It's one of those things. If you have not bought from a vendor before, especially if it's any sort of buy-in through a Facebook group, be very leery about it, because as things get lost. I've seen a lot of Facebook groups disappear overnight with tons of people's money. I've seen a lot of people wait on stuff from China that never shows up. I've seen the wrong stuff show up. There's plenty of things out there that people get taken advantage of. So if you don't know somebody and you can't get somebody else to vouch for them that you trust, just find something else to do. Get it from somewhere else. That buck or two you might save. Who knows if it's the right product, if it's the same product, if it's a good product. It's really tough. So try not to fall into that gap of hey, I got these mugs in and I'm going to do this buy-in of it. And it's just not going to probably work out now. Now, with that being said, there are people who that's their business is, hey, we run a buy-in for it. We do this, hey, we do it once a month. We're putting these in here. But those people will say, here's the dates, how it orders. Here's how it goes. Here's how your tracking information is. They have a system down and it works great. Those are the people that's what they do, and they do it very well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see somebody in the group that says, hey, I found I can get these. Would anybody be interested in a buy-in on it? Those are the ones I'd be leery about.
Yeah. And like I said, it's building that trust. This is different than just going and buying a coffee from a local Starbucks or something like that. This is your business. You're counting on this. So, but even if it maybe costs you a little bit more, if you can buy from somebody that you trust, and I'm not just talking about us here, Todd. We're here. You can find us. We try to share information, all that other stuff. That's the one thing. But there's other people. I'm thinking of somebody right now, Ruth Kaufman, Gatling Kaufman. She's got a great blanks group, but she's in there. She's helping. She's sharing. She's real, she's honest, all of that stuff. And so you could pick that up. Like you said, there's people that have the groups and have some of the things where that's what they do, but you can see it, it doesn't take long to figure out, yeah, this is what they do. It's going to be, you can build that trust pretty quickly. On the flip side of that, then you've got somebody that you've never seen post anywhere, anytime, that all of a sudden shows up and, I've got, 5,000 masks that I can ship to you, ready to ship, RTS.
Yeah.
And then, weeks go by and, oh, where did that person go? Weird, huh? Shocking.
Yeah. I just seen something go down in one of the other groups yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, the day before. But somebody was promoting that they can do logo design for people, for starting at $15. And really what they did was taken somebody else's ad that they had for that and was posted in various groups. And the only way they took payment was through Cash App. And guess what happened? I think anybody got their logo. In fact, the person who logo they stole found it, saw it, and started calling them out in groups on it. And yeah, from my count, it was easily $1,000 that they got yesterday from people that wanted, a logo design for $15 from nobody they heard of before. It said it was guaranteed in 48 to 72 hours. And what's really going to happen with that? A lot of people are like, $15, I learned my lesson. But man, what if they got 1,000 people to do that yesterday? That's 15,000 that they just made. And somebody said that when they went back to request a refund from them or request a payment back from them, it was a completely different name with a completely different profile picture. So if their only method of payment is Cash App, just don't. So that would be the say for you.
Yeah. All right. We could go way down this rabbit hole, but I think we've covered it. What if anybody's got anything else there? Todd, what else? I guess one thing that if we're talking about OSG here real quick, we're 4, 5 by the end of the month, right? When prices are going to
5 days, 8:30. So we've only got 5 days left this month. If you're not a member, become one now, because we've been saying it for 8 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say since this all started, right?
A price increase, and there's gonna be a price increase, and there's gonna be a price increase, and we are to the point where we've got a really good handle on the next level, and things are how it's going to be, and the way we're going to start growing things. And so that price increase is now September 1st. There is going to be a price increase. So to join the community, you get the legacy pricing. You join now, you're going to save yourself the money. Get in there now, because once this changes over on September 1st, it's going to go up. And you can't say we didn't warn you, because we're doing it for 8 months. So we've been really transparent with it, and we wanted to make sure that we had, things in place to be able to it. I believe we've had a couple people, testing out, taking looks at new things for us and helping us out with that. So I think each day we're getting closer and closer, and September 1st, it's going to go up. So get in now. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to us, because, that's at the end of the day, we want you to be happy with what you have. And that's why we offer that 100%, satisfaction guaranteed.
Yep.
As long as you put in the work, you can't say, hey, it didn't do anything for me. We can go and look and see, you didn't show up to any of the trainings. So, you didn't show up. So it's not on us. We did our part.
Yeah. And I think the part that I'm want to make sure that everybody's aware of, if you're a member already, your price is your price. We had some folks that started with us from the very beginning in the very first 5 keys, and they've gotten a pretty smoking good deal, I would say. And, as long as they're a member, that's going to be their price forever. No matter how much we raise our prices, that will never go. So if you're thinking about it, now is definitely the time, because once you're locked into that is your price, no matter what. Even if you're just a month, somebody that's did the monthly price, that's still going to be your monthly price for as long as you're a member.
Yeah, and if you're just wanting in for the 5 keys, do it today, because guess what? September 1st, September 2nd is when we're going to start the next 5 keys. If you sign up on the 1st or 2nd, you're paying more. So, might as well sign up now and save the discount for the 2 months that you're going to get training out of it. And if you want to leave us, we're going to do our best to keep you around, but we're going to show you that, we're in this for you. We're in here to help you succeed. And so put in the work. We're going to put in our work, and together, amazing things are going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The community is fantastic. I mean, I can't tell you how much I enjoy getting to work with everybody. And so, having that community around us too, Todd, it just makes it so cool. And so we want more people to come join in that community and be part of it. We truly believe that a rising tide raises all boats, meaning that if we're all succeeding, with our what's our catchphrase, so to speak, Todd?
Which one? We've came up with like.
We got to work on this. Then I thought maybe I was throwing you a softball, but apparently not. So your success is our success.
Oh, see,
my bad. No, I didn't explain it very well.
Yeah, I'm like, which one? It's like, what is raising tides raises all boats? I'm like, which one are we going with? I'm like,
that's just mine. That's my own one that I love. So
you just got to put it over here. So
yeah. Hey. All right. So Jerry, I heard that you got yourself a new sublimation printer. So congratulations on that. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to do with the sublimation printer there. And Todd, see, I'm not sure. I think it's the other way around. But
what if I said, huh? Who? Like I'm the Jerry or Pinky the Brain? Or
I love it. All right. Well, what else is going on?
That's it. I mean, well, that's what we got here. What is today? Today's Wednesday. So then we've got you Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You got you Friday. And I don't know who you have on there.
His name's, and I'm not going to pronounce his last name right. Terry Saunders from CMO is actually one who hooked us up with Tony. I think it's Chamari, but I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. So fingers crossed. Poor Tony is down there in the path of the double hurricane. So we're keeping a close eye on that. He's going to keep us up to date. So Tony's fairly new, and Terry will be able to actually give us a little bit more. I haven't got a chance to dig into all the background quite yet, but fairly new. And so we're going to talk about what he's learned from starting his business. And so we've talked to him, and he's got to go get a webcam, and it's going to be, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a fun one on Friday morning. So we're going to learn a ton. I think it's always great to get that fresh perspective from people that are new into it, and just kind of, because somebody like, there we go. Terry said Tony's name. Jeremy.
Spoken.
Nice. Thank you, Terry. Somebody like, Terry Combs, who's been around since, dawn of time. I don't feel like a spring chicken, being in this industry for 20 years. You kind of get to this point where you're like, you kind of think you got it figured out. And somebody coming at this from a brand new, fresh perspective, I think that's so cool. That's such a great opportunity to learn things that you wouldn't otherwise think about. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's a lot of how we are here. We've got those people that are just starting off in that. And those are the ones that create the greatest ideas. I think. Look at in reality, has screen printing changed much since it started?
Well, it's not silk screen anymore, but yes, not much.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Other processes have changed and how quickly they've evolved with it. So there's a lot of things where this is the way it was done, and why? Because it was done for 20 years before that, and now it's like, why are you doing it this way? A good thing as a sign painter. Sign painters, it's a dying art. Now you're getting paid 10 times more than what you were 15 years ago because there's 10 times less of you. So, somebody that wants a real professional sign painted, they're getting their money's worth out of it. There's quite a few that I've seen that do amazing work, and I could watch day after day. Now, what it takes them, maybe 2 hours to do, I can get done in 10 minutes, print it out and put on the wall. But that's why my prices are what they are compared to them. But, it's one of those things. So they're buying the value. They're buying the experience. You're not buying the paintbrush. You're buying the experience behind it. And it's the same thing with all of us. You're not buying the 30 cents vinyl or the 5 cents worth of ink. You're buying for all the experience, equipment, everything we have into it. So getting new perspectives, I love seeing that, because those are the people that are usually excited about it, that, they're not so much worried about, I got to make sure I got to make payroll for my 700 employees this week. They're like, hey, I just want to make sure that I have enough money to get a tank of gas. So it's always fun, the people that are starting off.
Yeah, yeah. So when you were saying, just because it's always been done that way, did you mean this here?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
I think we should do that one year.
Oh God. Todd, I don't know if you've seen us. Neither of us are fast. So
but you didn't say, I didn't say we should go do it. We should just do it. We should go there. We should just go see it.
Oh, go see it. Okay. I was gonna say we don't need to be in there.
I can run for a little bit. I mean, but I'm hopping that fence. I just want to, just one time,
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be the fastest. You just can't be the slowest. That's
right.
That's the key.
But then, you're immortalized in internet history like this. So maybe it's
exactly.
I make sure to wear one of our logos on the shirts, and we'll be good.
All right.
We got
all
that
right.
Friday.
That's Friday. Saturday, Small Business Saturdays. I've got Cheryl Kuchek checking in with me on Saturday, and we'll be talking sublimation as it goes with Cheryl, the founder of Sublimation Summit, which is coming up on September 9th. So Cheryl's, I'm just gonna grill her about sublimation. What's the newest, latest, and greatest? What should we be thinking about for the holidays? And you guys bring your questions. We'll just chase squirrels around for as long as we need to, and get a lot of good information out of her about sublimation.
Yeah, because then we get like double dose on Tuesday. On Tuesday, you and I will both be over in Cheryl's group, going over the Sublimation Summit.
Is that already this Tuesday? That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's this Tuesday. So we've got that, which maybe we're going to see. I'm going to try and see about working some magic and just have a double promo. Do it in her group and our group. We have the technology for it. It'll be way more seamless. It'll be better for both of us. So,
all right, good luck with that. Good work your magic, sir. I'm excited to see it.
I can connect to Zoom. My firewall says no. We can only do it through Streamyard. So here's the link.
I like it, Martha.
How amazing it is on Saturday on why she should do it through this platform, because I'm trying to think a Zoom call.
She's been on Two Regular Guys several times, and So anyhow,
a Zoom call with 3. I'm not sure how that even lays out right. You can't do fun graphics, can you? So it's like we really need to bring her into the Streamyard family to show her how much this is beneficial to her.
Yeah, exactly. Martha says one of you just has to outrun the other. So,
I mean, let's like please on.
Who's going to outrun the other? Well, it depends on what I'm wearing too. So I've got my interesting outfit on today. So I'm wearing shorts, but with some funny socks. So let's see if you're ready for this.
I'm not even wearing socks. Yeah, and funny shoes. Let's talk about the shoes. The moccasins. Is that what those are?
Kind of topsider type things. Yeah. So I've got some blue and pink shorts on, and I look good. I posted a picture of it on my Instagram. So if you want to see the whole outfit,
you're just a long way away from being a dirty hippie, aren't you?
Pretty much. All right.
So then Tuesday we've got that with her. Then Tuesday night, Tuesday with Todd. We're actually going to go over what we're dropping, the printed HTV, printed adhesive craft vinyl. We're going to walk through that because that's going to be what we're dropping in September. With it being the first, it kind of all worked out well. So there will be a discount code, but you're only going to be able to get the good discount code if you show up to Tuesday with Todd, because that's the way I do it. There'll be a code out there for everywhere else, but got to show up for the good one. So we'll have that on there as well. So, and then right into next Wednesday is we're starting up the 5 keys. So, we've got a busy week coming up.
Yeah, we do. Busy. Definitely. And Martha said, you look like a dad, Aaron. Where are the dad jokes? So Friday, I am on the dad joke. So I will be bringing you my best dad joke come this Friday on Two Regular Guys. So tune in for the dad jokes there. All right, Todd. I think that's it, man. I think we've covered hour and 10 minutes. That should be plenty for today. Yeah. And so thanks everybody. Again, last real quick reminder right up here. That way, I think, yeah, there we go. Right up there at oursuccessgroup.com. Go just hit the membership tab up there. Like I said, the prices are going up on the 1st. So this is your chance. Once you've locked into that price, that's your price for as long as you're a member. it's an investment totally worth your time. Like Todd said, try us out for the month for the 5 keys. You'll make your money back right then and with that right there. So
and realize the quality that you're going to get the rest of the year. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that when they're in there, we get a lot of good emails where people, want opinions on stuff. They're afraid to ask. They didn't want to ask it in the group because they didn't want to, seem like a dumb question or things like that. I mean, we take the time and go through that. We don't, give these canned responses to it. It's a lot of us kind of going back and forth. What do you think about this? Or here's that. Or I didn't think of it this way. So, you kind of get those two sides of things. Where Aaron's been in, the vendor side of it for all the years. I've been in on the retail side for all the years. So together, you've got a lot of information coming back at you. So, we want you to, to get as much out of it as you can.
Yeah. And indeed. So Pamela says, do not encourage him. Good choice. Terry, yes, we need a calendar to keep up with everything with you too. Yeah, we definitely got some stuff going on. So we love it. We appreciate everybody participating and being here. And Wanda, thank you for checking in with us and being here as well.
A new infographic that we'll put out the first of each month of because we know Saturdays, we know Fridays, we know Tuesdays, every other Wednesday. On Wednesdays are that. So then I just have to fill it in. We have to have content 4 weeks out, so we know that we're good to go with it. But training wise on everything through our OSG, I think we've got that squared away for the rest of the year. So
we do
that lined up. That's a good one. So
yeah.
Just know that you can always find us here, at liveosg.com. You can check in there with us. We've got the business spaces group. We got our success group. Not who's .tom?
.tom. That should be a name.
Better go buy that one, just like I bought our sublimation group today.
Now I'm gonna go buy all the .toms too, Todd. Great. Jeez, I'm gonna have 200 URLs that I own. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time today, and we'll look forward to make sure you check us out check me out over at Two Regular Guys, and then back here at Live OSG on Saturday, Tuesdays with Todd on Tuesday. Can find us anywhere, but mainly find us right up here at oursuccessgroup.com. All right, Todd, nice job, sir. Let's see if we can get that awkward high five thing in.
I gotta figure it out there. Oh, it's this way. There it is.
Okay, is that better? We'll get the close-up. High five. Nice job today. Good information. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will talk to you again soon.
See you guys.